Hey, everybody, welcome to the Art of Relationship show. I'm your host, as always, licensed professional counselor, relationship and sex specialist, Greg Dudzinski, fully licensed in the state of Michigan, have been for, God, over 2 decades now. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. Going to be talking about sex, right? Everybody's favorite subject. Woohoo! Right. So hopefully everybody's 2023 is kicked off to a smooth start, right? No major hiccups. But how many people, let's face it, when it comes to sex and sexual pleasure, I talk about this often. And we know desire is, triggered by pleasure, right? The more desire you have is typically based on the more pleasure you have, sexually speaking, physically, not only physically, but the emotional and the mental aspects of sex too. Now, the one thing I'm going to talk about is consent and obligation, right? When it comes to sex, I got all kind of stories, everything else. When it comes to consent, which is crucial in any type of relationship, no matter if you're married, if you're in a committed relationship, living together, that type of thing, consent is crucial and always has to be in place. Okay. And what about obligation? How many people are turned on by their partner? You know what? I'm married, so I have to, out of obligation, right? I don't want anybody to have sex out of obligation, okay? Or have intimacy out of obligation. And a reminder, people, join in the chat down below, throw your comments out there, throw your questions out there. I'd love to answer them. Any type of relationship, sexual aspects you want. Again, I'm a fully licensed professional counselor here in Metro Detroit in Michigan, right? The USA, and a relationship and sex specialist have been for over 2 decades. So, talking about obligation about sex, how many people have been in a situation to where you feel obligated to have sex? I want you to stop, okay? And there's a lot of times, and we get into a lot of women, sadly, have been in a situation where they feel obligated. They feel maybe coerced into having sex. Not only women, but there are men as well that figure I'm the man. I'm supposed to have sex. I'm supposed to be ready when the wind blows, right? As long as I'm hard, I need to have sex. No, not at all. That's where I want people to promote consent and get rid of obligation sex. I've had people in my office over the years, email me as well, my Facebook, all that stuff. Greg, you know what? We're married. My wife or my husband's supposed to have sex. They have to have sex with me. And I'm like, what? Where's that written? Right. I've had people um even in my office years ago, right? Oh, and I'm not religious. No disrespect to anybody out there. I'm not religious. But they said, oh, Greg, it's even in the Bible that the wife is supposed to have sex with the husband at least 3 times a week. And I'm like, you know what? Show me that. And I grew up Catholic, but I'm not religious at all any longer. More spiritual. So, and I'm like, you know what? You want to show me where that is? And that is part of, let's face it, blatant lying and trying to coerce his wife, into having sex with him. Number one, how many people would be turned on, would be, ecstatic to have sex with their partner and intimacy with their partner out of obligation? They know their partner does not want to have sex with them, is not turned on by them in that moment, or maybe hasn't been for a long time, but you still want that person to have sex with you just for your own pleasure. That is not a turn on, and that usually kills desire. There are people out there that don't care, right? Women, men, everybody assumes it's men don't care, but there's women out there that don't care. It's for their own selfishness, if you will. It's all about trying to value their status, if you will, to make them feel better if their partner has sex with them, no matter if they want to or not. And that's, you know what, that's selfish and that's unhealthy. So I do not ever want anybody to promote having sex out of obligation, or, you know what, that it's not consensual, right? And a lot of people, the old adage, which is ridiculous, and I don't ever want to be taken out of context, is about, oh, a husband can't rape his wife, which is ridiculous, right? Yes, they can. And wives can rape their husband, let's be honest. So I want you to be able to get after and about self-love and about self-respect. And if you remember back when you were younger, maybe not too long ago, even where you felt like you had to have sex out of obligation. You know what? Oh, the man bought you lunch, dinner, breakfast. He paid for the hotel room, right? So you're obligated to have sex. No, you're not. You have a right to say no. And we need to be able to force that and be able to set that in place. And there's a lot of even cultures that believe that the husband can have sex with his wife whenever he wants. And that's just wrong. Okay. And I view that as, I don't want any woman to be able, or man for that reason, to feel like they're obligated or it's a contract that you need to have sex with your partner no matter if you don't want to or not, because you're married, because you're living together, because you're in a committed relationship. And there's going to be different cultures out there that are going to bash me, that are going to, throw a lot of hate my way. I can handle it. Okay. Because they view that the husband owns the woman, or because you're married, you're obligated to have sex whenever your husband wants. And that is ridiculous. Okay. Do not ever allow yourself to be in that situation. And hey, these odds. I'm trying to remember. Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in on Instagram. As always, throw your questions, throw your comments down below. And if you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all over the place, right? LinkedIn, please throw your comments down below. I'd love to try to answer any questions I can for you. So we have to look at, again, obligation versus consent, right? Consent is agreeing to have sex, right? We don't want anybody to have sex out of coercion. And there's a lot of people that will, and I gave some examples about people, a guy mentioned that's in the Bible saying you have to have sex with me at least 3 times a week, which is a lie, number one. And I told people I'm not religious, no disrespect to anybody that is, but that's a lie. That's a blatant lie. Because you're married does not mean you have to have sex with your partner, man or woman. Okay. It'd be great if you want to. Awesome. And that's where I want this to come out of, that it's about, excuse me, consent and about want to. And how many people keep begging for sex, keep begging their partner to have sex with them, or trying to coerce them into it, right? Because it's all about their ego, their pride, and it makes them feel more worthy, if you will. It brings up their status. Hey, it doesn't matter if you had sex with me and you didn't want to. I feel better about myself. Woohoo, right? That's unhealthy. And that is, let's face it, it's gets to a point where it could be a toxic situation if it's ongoing. Number one, why would you want to have sex when you don't want to? And let's be honest, a lot of people do out of guilt, out of shame. And I understand, I get that. And again, this is not bashing. It's about giving people permission to say, no, I'm not in the mood. Or, some people get in a fight argument and their partner feels very disrespected. And the one partner wants to have sex to make up and everything's hunky dory, and expects the other one, who has just maybe ripped to shreds verbally, has been bashed, that, oh, you need to make me feel better and more connected to you to have sex with me. You're like, what? No, that's where I don't want that to happen. I want people to say no and to be understanding about what it takes to connect in an intimate level on the mental, the emotional, and of course the physical aspects, right? What are you doing to make your partner feel like they want to have sex with you, that turns them on? Like I said at the beginning, desire is triggered by pleasure, right? Let's face it. The more pleasure you get from sex, the more desire kicks up. Most times, not always. There's always exceptions to every rule. Excuse me. So that is typically what happens and what research states, okay? With sex therapy research and everything throughout the world is even saying desire is triggered by pleasure, right? The more pleasurable sex is, the more desire will be in place, will be triggered. Okay. And this not only physical, but again, emotional and mental pleasure. What are you doing to try to connect with your partner emotionally, mentally? What are you doing to try to, maybe woo your partner, man or woman, to make them feel better, that you desire them, not only physically, but you desire them emotionally and mentally as well. You like who they are as a person, right? Do you compliment them? Do you give them affirmations? That type of aspect. But those things will help trigger desire and more pleasure in your relationship. Absolutely. But again, how many people try to guilt trip or coerce somebody into having sex with them, right? The old adage here in America, in Western culture, right? Oh, you got to have sex with me or I'm going to die, or my testicles are going to blow up if you don't have sex with me, right? All those myths out there and trying to guilt trip and trying to coerce women into having sex with you, that needs to stop. Okay. It's immature. You want that person to have sex with you, man or woman. It's not about being gender specific, because they want to, that they are into you, that they're turned on by you, and that they're not guilt tripped into having sex with you, right? What would you feel like? Maybe you don't care, and that's a huge issue. If you don't care if your person or partner is having sex with you and they're only doing it out of obligation, they're only doing it because they feel they have to. It's their duty to have sex with you. That's sad and that's shameful. Um, where are you at with confidence, with courage to be able to, center on that you're okay with having sex with a person that really does not want to have sex with you? Okay. And I'm going to challenge people and there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of men, a lot of different cultures out there that still believe that it's the wife's duty to have sex with them, to give them oral pleasure whenever they want. Yeah, we would love that, right? Most people would, right? But that doesn't turn me on, knowing that my partner doesn't want to have sex with me, that she maybe, is not in the mood, or I upset her, or I'm not connected with her. She's not connected with me emotionally. But you know what? It's all about me trying to prove to myself I'm worthy because that person wanted to have sex with me when they really didn't. Does that really make you more confident? Does that make you more worthy because somebody had sex with you when they really did not want to, right? And I'm going to challenge people out there and to challenge themselves and look at, are you really confident, and are you really an adult, and are you really desirable because somebody has sex with you when they really don't want to? Does that make you more desirable? No, it doesn't. I think it makes a lot of people disrespectful, maybe even toxic, if we want to throw that word out there. And it makes people have a very, very maybe unhealthy or sick sense of themselves, or sick sense of their identity, being okay with having sex with somebody that doesn't want to. Okay. So you look at, what are you doing to turn your partner on? What are you doing to cause your partner that maybe they don't want to have sex with you? Okay. And you need to stop coercing them. You need to stop, being okay with someone having sex with you out of obligation. Not healthy, not desirable, and it's, in a way, it's sad. Let's be honest. Okay. If you're okay with that, now we can look at and research what is going on. What is causing the couple not to want to have sex with each other. you know Now, if they're both okay with that, that's okay. Again, you know what, there's people that have all different type of levels of sexual desire, right? Some people want it twice a day, every day of the week. Some people want it once a year. Again, it's not a right or wrong situation. It's about being okay with that situation in your relationship and what aligns and compatibility when it comes into it. So you want to look at, okay, what am I doing to cause my partner, my person, not to want to have sex with me? Right? Am I being mean, disrespectful? Am I paying attention to them? Am I wanting to spend time with that person? Am I giving them affirmations, compliments? Am I doing those things and that person still does not want to have sex with me, right? Maybe they're just not turned on by me. Now we look at what can I do to change that if possible? And are we able to look at, excuse me, if that is can be changed, or does that mean the demise of the relationship or the relationship or marriage will end? Would you want to be with somebody that really doesn't, you know, find you desirable in a sexually specific way? Okay. Would you want to be with somebody? And again, that's not a right or wrong. There's a lot of people we might find desirable in an intimate way, in a sexual way. Woohoo, right? But that doesn't mean they're going to be desiring us, right? Same thing. Some people might find us desirable sexually, want to rip our clothes off, but that doesn't mean we're going to be sexually desiring them as well. So look at what are you doing to turn your person on, right? What are you doing emotionally, mentally, definitely, and physically as well? A lot of times, if you're not, being emotionally connected to your person, and this goes for men or women, they're not going to want to have sex with you. Let's be open and honest about it, right? Some people can sort of desensitize themselves emotionally. Oh, I'm stressed out and I want to have sex just to have an orgasm and relax. And they might not even care about being emotionally connected with that person. And this happens often with men and women. Okay. And if you're both okay with that, again, that's not the issue. The issue is if there's a contradiction and you desire your partner and they don't desire you sexually, and trying to look at what is going on. Do not guilt trip them. Do not coerce them. Well, we're married. We're supposed to have sex. We're living together. We're supposed to have sex. No, hell no. You look at the foundations of what is going on, what triggered the decrease in sexual activity from maybe when you first were together versus now, right? Do you disrespect one another? Are you mean to one another? That type of thing. Are you paying attention? Are you having quality time together? Those type of things, right? So look at those avenues. Now we can also look at biology, medical issues, right? Maybe, sexual obligation kills desire. Or hold on, let me back up a little bit. I never want someone to have, obligation sex. That's first. But some people have sex out of obligation, even if they don't feel desire. And it's created by biology or medications, right? Diabetes, high blood pressure medications, hormone replacement therapy can cause problems. There's birth control, oral birth control pills for women that kill sexual desire, right? That just, there's no sexual desire at all. Certain antidepressants, certain mood stabilizers can create a lack of desire sexually. So you have to look at all these factors, what's going on. Number one, look at, do you desire each other? Do you find each other attractive emotionally, mentally, physically? And then you look at, what is going on after that. Usually, if the desire is in place for yourself, right? If you masturbate, if you self pleasure and you like self pleasure and often, and you get turned on by yourself or fantasizing and get turned on, chances are there's not a medical issue going on. Okay. That's typically there's not a medical issue going on. So I look at it, it's a relationship issue that's happening. And where's the emotional connection? Where's the mental connection? Or maybe one person is a selfish lover. One person is maybe it's all about them getting pleased sexually, but they don't do anything to please their partner. Again, why would you be turned on by that? Right. So that's wouldn't turn me on, right? I want someone that desires me, that craves me in the way I want to be craved and desired, just like it's reciprocated, right? So if you're doing all the work and you feel your partner really doesn't care about your sexual pleasure, why would you want to have sex with them? Again, I'm doing it because we're married. I'm doing it. It's my obligation, or I feel coerced into it. I feel guilty if I don't. And that is not a healthy spot to be. And that does not promote self love and self respect, not at all. So look at this, Share this video, people, and I would love you, you know, give me your feedback on it. So look at, is your partner, or are you having sex out of obligation, or do you feel coerced into it? You have a right to say no, and you need to stop it, okay? And start promoting self love and self respect. Then you need to be able to look at what is really needed to build desire, what is really needed from your partner or for you to turn your partner on emotionally, mentally, and of course, physically with pleasure, okay? Again, typical formula for desire and increased desire is about pleasure. Okay. So look at that. And then you can look at, absolutely need to look at medical and biological issue hormone changes. Sometimes as we age, you know, diabetes, blood pressure, heart issues, testosterone issues, estrogen levels for women. In women, you know, with childbirth, their hormones and body function gets all messed up, right? Not every woman, but a lot of women, their hormones get out of whack and get changed, and their body chemistry gets changed from childbirth. It's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. It's looking at what do we do to get back in place. Hey, time here, Nancy. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in. So make sure you check these out. Educate yourself, people, because I want you to have a great, healthy, happy, desiring, pleasurable, fulfilling sex life. Absolutely. Most people want that. Some people don't care about it, and that's okay. Not a right or wrong, but looking at what's going on. And if you feel, or you feel your partner is having sex just out of obligation and they're not into it, or they're coerced into it and they're having sex out of guilt, you know what? Why would you tolerate that for yourself? And if you are the one having sex just out of because you're being guilt tripped or shamed or coerced or manipulated into having sex, you need to stop and start promoting that self love and self respect and look at what's going on and get the undercurrent, the root of the issue, what is creating that. Okay. So check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. Please follow me, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all over the place. Love Guru Greg. And I think my website I mentioned again is theartofrelationships.org. And peace and love to everybody out there. My passion is always trying to help people have the relationship that you crave, not only with the partner, but even with yourself. Okay. About promoting that self love, self respect, and that you like yourself. Okay. So peace and love to everybody out there. And everybody have a great day. Take